Hey everybody, this is Jim West with Carolina Varsity, and wanted to talk a little bit about the 4A All Metro Conference. This is not one of my favorite conferences. There's only 5 teams in this conference, and to me, to have a decent conference, you need 6 teams, and it just makes a very hard thing for people to get non-conference games when you have to either have a game in October, non-conference game in October, or try to fill every week between August 18th and September 29th. Anyway, in this conference, though, I've got Page winning it. They ended up losing their head coach, Kevin Gillespie. He ended up going to Ashboro, and they ended up getting the head coach from Northwest Guilford. And a lot of people were wondering why I have Page first when they lost their head coach, and it's interesting that they ended up getting the team that actually picked for second, getting their head coach, Northwest Guilford. And I do have Northwest Guilford as second. I think it's they have a good, strong offense, good passing game, good rushing game. The biggest thing is they will improve on defense. If their defense improves and they have a solid year, they could beat Page. So there's not much difference between these two teams. And right now I'm kind of discounting the whole coaching aspect of it. Number 3, I'm going with Ragsdale. That could be a surprise. I don't think they're going to win the conference, but I think they could end up finishing second. They could surprise either a Page or Northwest Guilford if the timing is right. Got a pretty good senior class coming up. Will they have enough depth? That's kind of my biggest question. If they get some players from JV, if they step up, it might be a special season for them. Number 4, I'm going with Grimsley. They went 4-7 last year, and to be honest with you, I just don't see them doing much better than 4-7. Seems like they've been kind of going on a downward projection for the last decade or so. Remember one time they went to the state championship game, the small 4A, and ever since then, I don't know, just something's not been quite right in Worley land. And last, High Point Central. This is another program that's really gone down in the last few years. The Bison, their defense will probably improve a little bit this coming season, but just too much gaping holes for me to pick them anything but last in this conference. But it's kind of sad. This program's they've won a state championship back in the late 70s, 4A. They actually won a 2A state championship in the 90s, the late 90s. For a brief period of time, they were 2A. And anyway, it's going to be a trying year for High Point Central. This is Jim West with Carolina Varsity, and thank you so much for listening to me.